Do you see me? Do you see me? You don't hear me. Oh. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. I see you. No. What is this? They're using enhanced inscription. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh,
It happens.
finally. I hate this Zoom.
I know it's always like that. I see
Yes,
them but I don't hear you. When you hear me, I don't hear you.
yes.
They have to perfect this, right? Well, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. I'm so happy that you're English. You're
Well, I'm half English, but yes, yes.
English. Um,
Yeah.
I thought that you'd be full Italian with this film that you made,
Mm.
La Vita della Vota.
Well done. Yes.
Okay. And it translates as the liberty
Um,
of memory.
it would translate more like a life once upon a time, I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I love history. My father was from, he just passed a few months ago. But he used to tell me everything about, the living in Italy and
Where
growing
was he
up
from
there.
in Italy?
He was in a small town called Vico Equense near Sorrento, in vicino di
Ah,
Sorrento.
okay. Yes.
And his family was always in produce, and they always had the markets and foods. So the soldiers, used to come to the house to eat, and whether they liked it or not. And yeah, and the way that they had to work, and it was very difficult time.
Sure.
There was
Okay.
no luxury
Mhm.
living back then.
Yeah.
I guess maybe for the rich, but the
Mhm.
the middle class were, oh, I loved a part in the film where they was saying something about sharing, like swapping out
Yes.
a couple of chickens for land or whatever. My father used to tell me this all the time, that
Yes.
to
Yeah, absolutely.
for land they would say, here's two chickens and a donkey. That's how you got your land. So
Yes.
tell me what inspired you to make this.
Well, even though I'm half English, but I was born in Rome, and I've been going to Abruzzo since I was very, very young. Because my nonna Valentina, she moved to Abruzzo when I was 4, near L'Aquila, and so basically the love for Abruzzo started then. So I used to go and spend my summers with her in a small village near L'Aquila, and so Abruzzo has always been part of my life.
That's in the north. Yeah.
Well, L'Aquila is basically just to the right of Rome.
Oh,
It's about an hour and a bit away from Rome in the Apennines. It's not very far from Naples either. That area. You
I
know.
have I have family in San Vito Romano.
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
where that is? It's not
Yes.
too far.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's not. It's central Italy. And yeah. And so basically, I've been going there all the time, and and then in 2006, with my wife, we decided to buy a house in a small village called Fontecchio near L'Aquila, and we moved there to live there. And yeah, that was 2006. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So then you got to know the people from there, and you interviewed them and found out about
Well,
their history.
yes. Well,
Yeah.
it's slightly more complicated than that. Because you probably remember in 2009 there was a big earthquake in that area.
Yes.
Yeah, we were there when it happened, and so we were made homeless that night. And so the years following the event, we basically lived between Italy and London, and then in 2015 we moved back. We had a daughter by then, and coming back to the village once I've seen it before the earthquake and then going back to it after the event, it was shocking how the area just got depopulated, and a lot of the elderly people died because they couldn't cope with having to leave their homes and having to move elsewhere. And so in me, sort of, this thing just it was born in me that I had to sort of record their stories. So I started recording sound bites, just interviewing people without any video, just sound. So I created a sound archive to begin with in 2015, and then in 2016 I decided to start filming because I trained as a sound recordist, and I studied photography in London, but I wasn't a filmmaker until I decided I had to film these people. And so I started in 2016 and I did some short films. One of them was quite successful, was finalist in a few international film festivals. And then thanks to that film, I got this commission from a local association, Proloco di Fagnano Alto, which is the villages next to where I was living. And they asked me to produce a document, a film for them, recording the oral history before it's too late. And so with their help, I started this journey, which was a year and a half in the making, interviewing all these people around the area. Yeah.
It's fabulous, and also I have to say that the not being a cinematographer or doing any kind of film, it's shot beautifully,
Thank you.
really beautifully. I mean, you could really feel. I mean, I remember the shot with the glasses, with those bottles, and
Oh, yes.
it's just very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
So being a photographer and a trained photographer, I'm sure that that helped with the cinematography too.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah, and being an all-around artist like this, I could understand. I'm a portrait artist, so when you're an artist, you just have composition,
Yes,
and
yes.
you really should make more films because this is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Very,
I am.
very
I am. I'm working on
good.
several other projects at the
Good.
moment.
That makes me happy because then you
Yeah.
could put the films in all my festivals.
Thank you. But let's hope they're going to be as good as this one. Yeah. I know. I know. I'm
This
working.
is
I'm
the
really
first
excited.
one, so it only gets
Yeah.
better, right?
Oh, well, hopefully.
What do you think
Well,
the next one would be on?
I've already started it actually. It's going to be called I Cinemari. And basically, I met a bunch of old men in this area. Well, basically, they had a love for cinema, okay? Because in those days, and this is throughout all of Italy, small villages, they all had a little cinema, okay? This is the days before television took over in 1960s.
Mm.
And so basically, they worked in these little cinemas. And then when television came along, people stopped going to the local cinema. And so basically, they took the projectors out of the cinema places and put them in vans and started traveling the villages, showing the films in the summer in the piazzas and stuff. And so I'm interviewing these people about this story about them traveling around with showing films around small villages in Italy in the Apennines. So this is the story.
Oh, wow. That is, I just imagined all of that, and a
Yeah.
little bit of Cinema Paradiso just
Yes, absolutely.
it
That's the
went a
kind of
little bit
stuff.
past my my vision
Yeah.
as well.
And there is this guy who has basically a garage, from the outside, you have no idea what's inside, but when you walk in, it basically has thousands of old 35 mil films, and he's got 4 or 5 projectors, and he's still got a 1950 van with the projector inside, and that's what he uses. So he's the center character. I already interviewed him, so I've got quite a big chunk of it. I just need to go and finish bits and pieces, which I'm hoping to do this summer if I can go to Italy. That's obviously the
Yeah,
question.
I know. So you're in England now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, in London,
Oh,
yeah,
and it just broke my heart how Italy got affected
yeah,
by the coronavirus. And
yeah.
I mean, you know, when I found out all about this virus, that it's, by hands and by touch. And I mean, Italians are always kissing on
I
both sides
know.
of the face, not only on one, but you got it on both sides, and shaking hands and hugging. And they're such a huggy, kissy, it's just a tradition and probably, who knows, but we've all been affected
Yeah.
terribly by it. But and
It's
uh,
going to be very odd to go back there when nobody's going to hug you and shake hands. It's going to be very odd.
what are we gonna do?
I don't know. It's going to be an Italy that I won't be able to recognize. I don't think.
No, it's gonna be very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere. As it is now, people, have to be 6 feet apart. So you don't want to be
Yeah.
anywhere near. It's a very distancing thing. I don't like it because
Yeah.
I have that in me. I'm always hugging and kissing
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
and I don't like this at all.
Mm, mm.
Um, no human contact for so long is very strange. I
It's
have
not natural,
dogs.
definitely.
That's it. What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's not natural.
It's
Not
not
having
natural.
human. It's a yeah, artificial. Yeah.
No, but watching your film, I watched it twice,
Mm,
and there's so much heart in the way that, you could just see in the people's faces,
mm.
and what they're talking about and the traditions. Um, Even in that game that they were playing with the bottles.
Yes,
So
tira
what
il
do you
gallo.
get?
Yes.
Chicken? Do you get a chicken if you win?
Yeah. Yes, right. Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
happening now.
It is happening still. Yes, absolutely. It's a really every summer the village feast in Ripa di Fagnano they have this event, and it's a real fun thing to go and have a look and be
And
part of.
also the all of the processions too of the
Yes.
patron saints too,
Yes.
right? And this year there was there a procession?
No, no,
No.
no, no. I'm not sure what's going to happen in August if they
Right.
lift any more restrictions. Maybe, but yeah, it's going to be quite hard. Yeah.
I have another filmmaker
Mm.
that made a film called The Missing Procession,
Oh
and
yeah, I've seen the trailer. Yeah,
yes, and it
nice.
was in
Yes,
Koshida.
that's right. Yeah,
For
I've seen it.
500 years, they
I know.
never missed one.
Yeah.
500 years,
Uh-huh.
not one procession has ever been missed,
Yeah,
except for this year.
I
During
know.
the war, they had the procession.
I know. Well, I guess the Germans would let them have the possession.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But, things like that. I mean, it's such a traditional country, and I'm hoping that I could get back there.
Yeah.
I go there every year, and I'm supposed to
Mm.
go there for Proshida. You're in the first
Yes.
festival,
Yes.
so
That's
I'm
right.
hoping
Yeah.
that happens, so I can meet you in
Fingers
person.
crossed.
And yes, all of our fingers and toes. I think that I interviewed that filmmaker,
Oh,
and he said there was maybe 3 cases, and everybody is fine, but nobody died. So I think, thank God, but I think that by September it should be okay.
Yes, I hope so. Yeah.
I think. I mean, is anything opening up yet in Italy?
Well, from the third, so day after tomorrow, they opening the borders to anybody.
Ah,
It's the difficult thing is trying to get there. That's the most difficult thing. I mean, I want to go there at the end of June, and I can't find a hotel or a ferry crossing. I'm going to drive there because I don't want to fly. There's no flights at the moment. We're very few. And so, but even that, I mean, I'm contemplating maybe I'm just going to drive all the way without stopping. It's 23 hours drive, because I can't find a hotel. I would take bookings at the moment. But you could get to Italy. I mean, they from the third they allow you in. So things are
just bringing
moving.
people in without, but they have to be testing. I mean, are they like
No,
uh
no, no
nothing,
quarantine. No,
no
they're quite
quarantine, nothing,
confident. No, they're quite confident. I don't know. We'll
but
see.
everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hope for that too. We don't want a second wave, right?
No.
But I'm very, very happy to have you in 2 of my festivals.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very happy too.
And
And, and the people are very happy, from Fagnano, they are completely overwhelmed by the news, because for them, the funny thing is that when you interview them, I mean, obviously this film it's like condensed because some of the interviews lasted for like half an hour. Italians can talk
yes.
the legs off a donkey, so, and so, and so you can imagine the volume of material and but the initial reaction was always like, oh, I've got nothing important to say. Why would you want to know these things? Because they
Mm,
don't see them as important. For them was a hard time, something almost to be embarrassed about,
mm,
being up poor, having to work the land. And so the beginning was always, each interview was, quite tricky in that sense. But then, then they relax and you go into it, and then the stories finally get out, and then you actually realize how incredible they are. Because from people from my generation, you know, I grew up a few hundred, 100 miles away from them. Two completely different worlds. I mean. And to find people that are still alive, that live that life,
mm,
like that guy is 100 years old, is 101 now. I mean, he was born in 1919. I mean, he saw this incredible shift in lifestyle from a rural life where they didn't need any money because it was all done by barter. And, and then slowly after the war, the economy changed. And so you had to make money in order to survive. And that was the biggest drive for immigration in the 1950s and 60s, which caused the crisis that exists now, not only in Abruzzo, but in the whole of the central Apennine and the whole of the Apennine of Italy, where people are just leaving, and there's all these villages are basically empty. And that, so the economic boom, that which is like this great thing, but at the same time was like the nail in the coffin for all this area, really. It drove people out to go and work in Belgium, France, America, Australia. They all left.
and old people, elderly people there, they they get tighter to their house. They don't ever want to leave their house when they're older, and for
Yes.
them to have to move is just, it's heartbreaking. It's
Yeah.
heartbreaking to think of this, because I have an uncle that's gonna, I think he just turned 90. He just turned 90, and there is no way that he would leave. That he's been in the
Oh,
same town for 90 years. Um,
yeah.
so there's, I could understand how people would, their hearts would just be broken if they had to leave their, someplace that they've been all their life.
Sure.
So that's, oh, wow. I mean, but this 101-year-old man, you can make a documentary on him alone. How long did you interview him?
Oh, well, quite a bit, quite a bit. Um, yeah. I mean, but there's so many good characters there, really.
And he
And
had all of them. My father used to say he had all his gagoots.
oh, you completely gagoots were completely amazing. I mean, he does his orto, his vegetable patch, every year. He's out there, and he's, you know. So when I interviewed him at the end, he said, "Oh, come with me." So we went into this cantina, and he just gave me a crate of tomatoes from
Oh,
his garden. You know, I mean, it was just like, yeah,
I'd love to
a
get him
hundred
and my
years old.
uncle together. They'd make grapes and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that was the great thing about this thing, because I got to know these people really well, but not only them, their families as well, right? And so, you know, I got offered so many things. It was just wonderful. And when I go back, you know, um, I mean, you know, I go to a bar, you know, they offer me stuff. It's just really wonderful,
Wow.
wonderful, yeah, thing.
Wow. Well,
Last summer, the Proloco, who sponsored the film, they organized a big event.
what was it called?
The Proloco di Fagnano Alto is basically this association from Fagnano Alto, and basically they organized the presentation of the film. We did we got this all this kit, you know, for showing the film in the main piazza where the big festa happens, the San Rocco Festa, and there was about 600 people came, which is
Oh,
unheard of. Okay, you know, and it was an incredible experience showing the film in front of all of them. You know, I mean, there was laughter. You know, that's the thing that shocked me. It's just like you got a real reaction from the crowd. You know, laughter, silence. You know, in sort of sad moments, and you know, it was an incredible experience.
that is
Oh,
incredible.
right.
600 people in a
I
square
know.
watching your
Yeah.
film.
In August, it was hot, and they're all
Getting
sitting out there.
chills thinking of it because I'm a filmmaker too, and
Yeah.
just to hear the feedback and
Incredible.
you're waiting. Oh, are they gonna laugh at that? Oh, are they gonna how are they gonna react to that? How
Yeah,
great is
exactly.
that? Wow. And you weren't
Yeah.
like stifled in a theater that people were like holding back. They were
No,
out and they were outside.
they
How
had a great time. Yeah,
wow.
we all
Wow.
had a great
Did you
time.
film that? Do you have any footage of that?
I
Of the
do actually. There was a yeah. There was a television. I could send you a link. There was a
I'd
local
love
TV
to
came and
see
did
that.
a piece on it. Yeah, I'll do
I
that.
would
I'll
love
send
to
it.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was a great event.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, wow.
Mm,
Well, I'm so happy that that you're in this festival, both of my festivals,
thank you.
and there is a platform for your film. And have you been submitted to other festivals? Have you
Well, yeah, I have. And I'm still waiting. They're gonna, you know,
oh,
it's like they now, because of COVID-19, they delayed their judging day. So I no idea. But yeah,
okay.
and also I just finished producing a shorter version, because some of the festivals I want to get in, they only take short documentaries up to 30 minutes. So I reworked a version and just finished it actually today. I'm finishing it today actually, so I can submit a shorter version, because I want really people to see it.
Oh,
Uh,
good, because then
um,
you could put it in the Cutting Room Film Festival that's in New York, because
oh,
that's
right,
a short
okay.
film festival.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay.
I will send you a waiver for that.
Oh, oh,
For
thank you.
sure. Because you were already submitted to two of my festivals. So
Thank you.
I'm thrilled to have your film, and
Thank
you
you.
have to continue
I
making
will. I am.
movies, and because your eye is fantastic.
Thank you.
Did you shoot it yourself too?
Everything. I shot. I did the video, the sound, the editing,
What did you shoot it
everything
on? What did you use?
on a G8 on a Panasonic GH5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was very beautiful. How did you just learned how to use that and then you went and shot it?
You know what? I bought the camera a week before the first festa, And I was very lucky that my neighbor in London, actually is upstairs. He was there staying in my house in Italy, and he suggested I buy this camera. So he gave me like a crash course on how to use it, and then I went out and started filming with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
when did you shoot it? How long ago?
It was we started sort of April 2018, and I finished August 2019. So just
It's
over a year,
a
almost a year
lot.
and a half.
Well, that's not that long for all of the footage that,
Well, because I had to
believe.
film all the seasons, you see, I had to follow all the seasons.
Of
So
course.
yeah, and winter was the challenging because it's very cold and it's snowy, and it was beautiful actually. It
Well,
was
and
it was
oh,
lovely to be out there on my own in the wild and just waiting for the right moment, the right light, the right blizzard. Yeah, it's quite an experience actually.
well, thank you so much, and I
That's
hope that
right.
you can join us for the Q&A to
Okay, okay.
after the
I'll
blog.
try. Can you hear
I
me? Can you
know,
see
I
me?
know. We'll be going back and forth. Can you hear me? I see you. And
Yeah.
um,
Sure, sure. I'd love to be there for the Q&A. Just send me the link and
of
I'll
course,
definitely
and yes,
try
of
and
course
log
I
on.
will. Yes, because I'm sure people will have questions for you, and also then on the 8th is the awards,
Sure.
so that'll be fun. And so we're all getting dressed up, but you don't have to.
Well,
I'll
it's
get
quite
dressed
late. It's quite late here.
up. That's right. What time? What it's
We're 5 hours ahead, so it will be like in the middle of the night. I think, oh my God.
oh that
I'll
oh
be
oh that's right. 8 o'clock is going to be
like
well.
one
What
in
else
the, I'll
do
be
you
in my
have to do?
PJs. I'll be
What
in
else
my
are you doing
PJs.
now? We're still in quarantine.
That's right.
We don't know what day it is. We don't know what time
No.
it is. Right, exactly. So
Right.
who cares if well you have someplace to go? I'm joking.
No, I haven't. No.
I'm crazy.
That's
But it was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad that we got this together, and
right.
I'm hoping to see you at the Q&A
Yes.
and also at the awards because
Okay.
he is the award.
She's beautiful.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful,
Thank
wonderful.
you. Very, very nice meeting you finally.
Yes. And we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Ciao.
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 Ciao.